Before the Edo period, there existed a striking group in Japanese cities known as Kabukimono, eccentrics. With their flamboyant clothing, unconventional behavior, and at times violent conduct, they inspired both fear and fascination among commoners and the warrior class alike. Kabukimono are often spoken of as one of the roots of the aesthetics behind modern kabuki theater and the swaggering, chivalrous otakodate, similar to local vigilantes. In this piece, we will trace who they were, how they dressed, what they did, how society perceived them, and how they eventually disappeared. The verb kabuku means to deviate from or to lean away from established norms. Those who dressed and behaved outrageously according to their own rules, essentially an outlaw group, were called kabukimono. Their fashion and dances later lent their name to the performing art we now know as kabuki. In Kyoto, Izumo no Okuni's kabuki odori dance incorporated the appearance and mannerisms of kabukimono, creating a huge boom. This is commonly regarded as the prototype of kabuki theater. Kabukimono flourished mainly from the late Sengoku to the early Edo period, late 16th, early 17th century. As the era of constant warfare ended, samurai lost opportunities to make a name for themselves in battle. Young warriors, masterless samurai, ronin, retainers, and even townsmen began to express their strength and flamboyant spirit outwardly. This social background gave rise to the kabukimono as an urban phenomenon. Kabukimono did not belong to a single social class, but were drawn from various groups. Warlords and strongmen of the Sengoku era, such as Maeda Keiji, whose eccentric conduct was legendary. Young bannermen and retainers, hatamoto-yakko, who lost career opportunities after the wars, or their servants, some of whom formed the groups later known as hatamoto-yakko, retainer gangs. Townsmen's flamboyant youths, machi-yakko, sometimes organized to resist the bullying of hatamoto gangs. In short, kabukimono were less a social category than a set of behaviors, tastes, and aesthetics shared across ranks. In Edo, the hatamoto-yakko and machi-yakko came to be seen as close relatives of the kabukimono. Kabukimono sought above all to stand out. Vivid colors, exotic furs, loosely worn women's kimono, extremely wide sashes, long decorative swords. Some weighted the ends of their sashes with lead to make them flap dramatically. Long smoking pipes were carried to enhance presence. Hairstyles and beards were trimmed in unusual ways to create distinctive silhouettes. Such appearance was both intimidating and alluring, essentially stage-like, with the purpose of drawing attention. Their actions ranged widely. Violence and fighting. They sometimes formed gangs, picked fights, assaulted passers-by, or even slashed at strangers. Hatamoto-yakko, backed by samurai status, often bullied townsmen. Even dining and drinking without paying was said to occur. Showmanship. They strutted flamboyantly on highways or in tea houses, gaining attention much like Okuni's kabuki dance, linking them to entertainment culture. Machi-yakko sometimes opposed hatamoto-yakko, posing as protectors of the weak, though in reality they often enforced their own order. Figures like Banzuin Chobi gained fame as heroic leaders, though the line between protector and oppressor was thin. In early Edo, fierce clashes erupted between townsmen gangs and samurai gangs. Hatamoto-yakko, direct retainers of the shogun or their servants, terrorized commoners, while machi-yakko claimed to defend townsfolk, engaging in pitched battles. Such conflicts inspired kabuki and storytelling, and real figures like Banzuin Chobi became popular heroes. Their flamboyant behavior overlapped with kabukimono culture. Maeda Keiji, Keijiro, Sengoku-era warrior famed as Japan's greatest kabukimono. His legends, from battlefield exploits to extravagant lifestyle, were immortalized in later works like Ichimuan Foruyuki. Banzuin Chobi, townsman leader of machi-yakko, remembered for standing up to hatamoto-yakko. Though history and theater mix in his tales, his conflict with Mizuno Jirozeimon became a staple of kabuki and kodan storytelling. Keiji embodied the warrior type, Chobi, the townsman hero. Both symbolized the aesthetics of kabuki behavior. Large-scale clashes between hatamoto-yakko and machi-yakko repeatedly disturbed Edo in the early period. These riots involved street attacks, house raids, and vendetta feasts, leading to harsh shogunate crackdowns. Chobi's death in a sword fight at Mizuno's mansion, for instance, was dramatized in kabuki. Ultimately, special police units skilled in martial arts, Hitsuke Tozoku Aratame, rounded up hundreds. They were sent to prison compounds such as Tenmacho. Hatamoto-yakko were often sentenced to ritual suicide, while machi-yakko faced execution at places like Suzugamori. Such suppressions brought an end to Kabukimono. Kabukimono were despised for lawlessness, yet admired for their flamboyance and chivalry. Their swaggering style fascinated the common people, who turned them into heroes on stage. Thus, society rejected them as a nuisance while embracing their aesthetics in popular culture. The decline came from shogunate crackdowns, harsh punishments suppressed group activity. Social stabilization. With peace and rigid class systems, little room remained for flamboyant outlaws. Kabukimono's violence was erased, but their style survived in kabuki theater. Though the Kabukimono vanished, their aesthetics and legends lived on in kabuki, rakugo, novels, manga, and film. Maeda Keiji and Banzuin Chobi remain archetypes of the flamboyant outlaw hero. Chobi is even called the origin of the Yakuza ideal of ninkyo, chivalry, helping the weak, crushing the strong, though modern Yakuza often betray this ideal. Kabukimono were not merely rogues, but reflected the social shifts from Sengoku to Edo, changes in class, culture, and urban life. Their eccentric style symbolized both repression and freedom, fear and admiration. The stage art of kabuki, born from their behavior, later spotlighted many real criminals, natural, since kabuki itself originated in imitating outcasts, many of whom met their end at execution grounds. Modern Japanese society is often criticized as conformist. Similar hairstyles, clothing, and strict adherence to social etiquette, especially in public spaces like trains. Yet in this context, delinquent youth gangs, riding customized motorcycles with loud exhausts, flaunting eccentric hair and clothes, and engaging in unproductive rebellious acts, can be seen as modern-day Kabukimono. Japan B is a channel that randomly shares information about lesser-known aspects of Japanese culture, spanning across various genres.